Good morning, hope you're well. We're going to carry on reading chapters 12 and 13 this morning. Chapter 12, Posho. Ah! Oh, for blooming sake, stop screaming, said the voice. This only made Stella scream more. Ah! Oh, shut your cake hole. It was definitely the voice of a boy. His accent was infinitely rougher around the edges than Stella's. The cellar was pitch black, and the girl had no idea who she was talking to. "Who are you?" demanded Stella. "I'll tell you, but you have to promise you won't scream the place down," he replied. "Yes, you promise?" "Yes," replied Stella, a little more confidently this time. "Ready?" "Yes." "You sure you won't scream?" "Yes!" Stella was becoming a tiny bit irritated now. The voice paused for a moment. "Well, get on with it." "I am getting on with it. So, I am a ghost." Ah! Stella screamed. The ghost was mightily annoyed. "You promised you weren't going to scream." "Well, I didn't know you were going to say that you were a ghost," protested the girl. "Well, what do you want me to do? Tell a porky pie?" "Oh, what? A lie. Cockney rhyming slang, innit?" Stella finally understood. "Oh, yes." "What do you want me to do? Say Father Christmas or something?" "No, but..." The girl hesitated. "But what?" "You can't be a ghost. Ghosts aren't real. My mama and papa told me so." The voice replied in a rather smug tone. "How did that? Mama and papa." He chuckled at how posh this girl was. "Very la-di-da. Well, if ghosts aren't real, why do you scream?" There was a silence for a moment. Stella couldn't think of a reply. Then she said, "I may have been screaming just for fun." "Likely story." "Well, it's completely dark down here. I can't see you. I can't see a thing. If you really are a ghost, then prove it." Stella was sure she had him by the ropes now. "All right," came the confident reply. "Shift some of this here coal out the way." "Me?" asked the girl incredulously. Despite not having any money, Stella had enjoyed a privileged upbringing as a member of the upper class. Being posh, she was not used to being given orders, especially not to move lumps of coal about, and especially not in such an uncouth manner by someone so clearly of the lower classes who her rather grand head mistress might have charitably described as an oik. "Yeah, you," the ghost replied. It was clear he was having none of this girl's attitude, but she wasn't giving up yet. "Well, why can't you do it?" she said defiantly. By the sound of the ghost's rough accent, Stella was sure moving coal around the floor of a cellar was much more his kind of thing. In fact, she guessed he would probably love to do it. For him, it would actually be a pleasure, an honour, perhaps even something of a treat. Maybe if this were his birthday, giving him the opportunity to move some coal about would make the perfect present. "I'm stuck on the other side of this here coal chute, ain't I? I've got no place to shift it to." "Well, you are a ghost, aren't you?" "Duh, yeah." "So can't you just, well, waft through it?" "Nah, real ghosts can't waft." Stella's understanding of ghosts came purely from fanciful stories she had read. She was more than a little disappointed to learn that real ghosts could not walk through walls after all. Not least because it meant she had to move this mountain of coal by herself. "Sorry, I had no idea," she said. Yet the girl stood totally still, hoping that if she did nothing for long enough, this oik would do it for her anyway. However, this was not to be. "Come on," the ghost moaned. "The quicker you get started, the quicker you finish." Stella sighed and bent down to feel where the coal was on the stone floor of the cellar. Reluctantly, she started moving pieces aside. It was hard work, and when she paused for a moment to get her breath back, the ghost shouted, "Get a move on!" "I'm going as fast as I can," protested Stella. "Sorry, but moving coal around is not something I normally do. The ghost let out a chuckle. Nah, you're one of them poshos. What? I beg your pardon. Posho! The ghost seemed to really enjoy saying the word and started to tease her with it. Posho, posho, posho! It was all very childish, but then he was a child. Well, the ghost of a child. I am not a posho, exclaimed the girl, more than a little offended. Nah, of course you're not. Thank you. Now come on, posho, put your back into it. Ha ha! Now I know what you're thinking. Why haven't there been any illustrations in this chapter? Not that you can see them. The pictures are the best bit. Well, that's because the last few pages of the story have taken place completely in the dark. In case you feel cheated, here are some illustrations especially for you. Chapter 13. A light in the shape of a boy. There was no point Stella arguing with the ghost. The little girl sighed and went back to work, groping with her hands in the dark. She continued moving the lumps of coal across the cellar floor. After a while, she could see something glowing. At first, she couldn't make out what it was. But as she moved more coal out of the way, she realised it was a pair of feet. Dirty-looking feet that were somehow lighting up the cellar. Now she could see what she was doing. The girl quickened her pace. Soon all the coal had been pushed aside, and standing right in front of her was a light in the shape of a boy. The figure was wearing shorts, a shirt, and his outfit was topped off with a cap. Over his shoulder, he was holding a brush. He had clearly been a chimney sweep, a boy who in the olden days was sent to crawl up chimneys to brush away the coal dust. Now presumably, his full-time occupation was ghost. Well, that took you a while, he said with a cheeky smile. Stella couldn't believe her eyes. She had been right all along. Those noises she had heard in the middle of the night were a ghost. Saxby Hall really was haunted. Here was the living proof. Well, dead proof. You're quite short for a ghost, mused Stella. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Been herding myself away for donkeys. Donkeys? The girl was confused. Donkey's ears. Years. Oh. So I've been hiding away because I didn't want to frighten nobody. And the first person I meet says I'm a short ass. Sorry, replied Stella, not quite meaning it. Now you said it now, ain't you? I heard you crying and it made me sad. I thought I might be able to help. I wasn't crying really. I just had something in my eye, replied the girl, trying to sound as grown up as possible. But that is kind of you. Let's try and be friends. She offered out her hand slowly. My name is Lady Stella Saxby of Saxby Hall. Oh, la-di-da and la-di-day. The ghost was most amused and began to mimic the girl's upper-class accent. Charmed, I'm sure. Lady Posho of Posho Hall in Poshington. Next he began doffing his cap in a manner so over the top there was little doubt he was only pretending to be impressed. Stella observed this display, a pained grin on her face. So what is your name? Soot. No, I asked you what your name is, not what you sweep away. I know, it's Soot. Soot. That's your name? Yeah. The girl couldn't help but laugh. That's not a proper name, you can't be called Soot. The ghost didn't look at all pleased at the girl's response. That's it, have a good old laugh, my lady. I will, she replied, before bursting into hysterics. Soot folded his arms, waiting for this rude little madam to stop. You're finished? Yes, replied Stella, wiping a tear of laughter from her eye. So please tell me, how does one end up being called? She was trying not to giggle. Soot. It ain't my fault. I was never given a name. I was abandoned as a baby and grew up in a workhouse. I never knew my mum and dad. The old man who ran the workhouse used to thrash us boys with his belt. No, yeah, even when we ain't done nothing. So I ran away. I was still only little. I met a gang of boys on the streets. They said you could get food and lodgings if you worked as a chimney sweep, so that's what I did. And one one day I came down from a chimney covered from head to toe in coal dust, and my master just called me Soot. Now the girl felt very guilty for having laughed. This poor boy's experience of life had been a world away from hers. Stella had never seen inside a workhouse, and shuddered to think how brutal it could be. As for being shoved up a chimney to clean out the coal dust, that was unimaginable. "I'm so sorry," she said. "I didn't mean to laugh, it's just I've never heard of anyone being called Soot. Don't you worry, milady." Stella now had a question she wasn't at all sure how to phrase. "So, I hope you don't mind me asking, spit it out, how did you, come to be a ghost?" Soot looked at her and shook his head. He clearly thought that was an absolutely stupid thing to ask. "You have to die first, don't you?" Yes, I gathered that," replied the girl. "So, forgive me, but how did you come to be, brown bread?" "Brown bread rhymes with dead," Stella guessed. "You're getting it." The pair shared a smile. "Well, milady, you may not believe me, but I died in this very house." We'll read chapter 14 tomorrow.